I'm joined by Cynthia George, the 2013 chair for the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, and she's the owner of her own healthcare consulting firm, Artesian Consulting, based here in Albany, and she has a career that has spanned over 3 decades, including 25 years at Phoebe Putney Memorial Hospital. And thank you for being here today, Cynthia.
Thank you, Walter. It's good to be here.
Now, you've had a career that has spanned over 30 years, including 25 years as a vice president at Phoebe. And how have you brought all that experience into owning your own consulting company?
Oh, well, I spent a large majority of my career at the hospital in the marketing and government affairs area and in strategic planning. So when it came time for me to set up my own business, it was a natural transition for me to go into the area of development, which is fundraising, which I've done for a number of organizations in the community already, to do that as a service to institutions and businesses that need that talent. And then I've also continued to work on a consulting basis with Phoebe in a lobbying as well as public affairs arena to work on the local level for Phoebe and to also be an arm of the hospital in the community.
And what about being a volunteer chair for the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce this year, and being a chair on the board of directors for the chamber is of course volunteer, and what has that experience been like so far?
Well, I'll have to tell you, I thought while I was chair-elect that I was getting a real good feel for that and thought I would know how much was involved, but really and truthfully didn't have a total grasp of just how much time is involved in that. But it is a very, very rewarding and an honor, a rewarding opportunity and quite an honor to serve as chair of this board, because they are all extremely interested in the future of business in this area. They're dedicated members of the board and work actively on committees, and they keep me hopping. But with the work of Chris Hardy as our president, it's really a fun but busy and challenging role being chair of the chamber.
And next up, given that the vast majority of members of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce are small business owners like yourself, what kind of what is it like owning your own company, and what kind of needs do you see being filled in the business community here in Albany, if you could think of any?
Okay. Well, really about 85 to 90% of the members of the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce are small business. So I can certainly identify with a large majority of our members by having started my own business. This isn't the first business that I've started. I owned a retail store a few years ago and have done a number of things throughout my career. So I can appreciate where business is coming from. I think the biggest challenge right now is particularly hard-hitting to small business with the economy the way it is, and we keep thinking that we're out of the woods, but we continue to see the effects of it in Albany. I think that at this time, it's extremely important for businesses to network and band together and work together to make the best of business, because we all help each other. And if the chamber can be that conduit to network and to build a business, then the businesses that we currently have in our community, that's what our role is. We want to be proactive on their part. We want to offer as many benefits as we can as a chamber that they need, that they may not be able to afford as an individual small business. But that's where the chamber comes in. We can do that.
And where do you see things going for Albany? Or what are you looking at for Albany business-wise going forward?
Well, if the real estate market is any indication of that, I would say things are beginning to pick up. I've just noticed, because of my personal situation, that the real estate business is, the houses are starting to move, and I think realtors will tell you that. And I think that things we've always joked about this, Walter, that in Albany things get here 10 years later. So if the end of the world comes, it'll come 10 years later to Albany. But I really think that in the business side of things, it's taken a little bit longer for the revamping and reviving of business in Albany. But we're headed in the right direction. Our Economic Development Commission is extremely busy in recruiting new business to our community, and I think you can look around and see new businesses going up pretty much all over.
And I think there's a new hotel behind the Bank of America, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. I think there is another hotel coming, and people don't really understand or appreciate, I think, especially those of us that have grown up here, what a hub this is for South Georgia. So when business people are traveling around South Georgia, and salespeople in particular, and they are out for more than a day, they need to spend the night somewhere, and they're going to come to Albany for that. And so our motels are extremely busy during the week, could always be busier, but they are busy during the week, and that's why there are, we really promote through our Convention and Visitors Bureau, organizations and groups coming into town, because that means a lot to our economy. Anybody that comes to town and stays here for a day or for days are going to spend money at our businesses, our restaurants, our gas stations, and all types of businesses.
Yeah, so kind of like the heads and beds.
Right.
And finally, what advice would you give to someone who wants to work in your field, like healthcare administration or something of that nature?
And the healthcare business, particularly in Albany, again, is an extremely good profession to be in. You've got one of the best medical facilities in the South right here in Albany, and so you really have to think that that's a good profession to be in for a number of areas, not just necessarily in the healthcare field, but there are all kinds of support areas with healthcare that people can get into professions, and a lot of that training is available right here in Albany at our different institutions that support a lot of healthcare professions.
Thank you, Cynthia George, owner of Artesian Consulting and the 2013 chair for the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate your hard work. Thank you, Walter.